On this episode, we chat with Chin Chongtong from Chili Paste Food Tours.
So if you want some insights into running a food-centric, tourist-reliant business in Thailand, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee krap, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 to find inner peace in meditation, but is yet to learn how to meditate for more than 5 minutes without thinking about movies, music, or Twitter.
Yeah, could be worse, I suppose. Yeah. And I'm Ed Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract 20 years ago, fell in love with the fact that Thai people love the song Take Me Home Country Roads for no apparent reason. And I never left.
That's a great song.
It's just kind of quaint, and it's just touching how much they like it, and I couldn't leave. You know, once I saw
a real underrated John Denver song is Grandma's Feather Bed. Great song.
I don't know if I know the song. I'm sure I've heard it.
Give it a listen. It's just a fun, quick, charming little ditty.
Hey, I grew up on John Denver. I'm not dissing John Denver, but yeah, okay, I'll check it out.
R.I.P.
All right, we want to say a big thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a whole bunch of cool stuff, including our ad-free regular show a day early, behind-the-scenes photos and videos of our interviews, discounts on swag, which you can find on our website, and various other things that aren't available to regular listeners. But best of all, patrons get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and random topics. We just finished recording this week's bonus show, and we immediately got off on a tangent about movies, followed by our first ever COVID good news show, where we discussed the surprisingly effective vaccine rollout in Thailand, despite it being fairly late, how some of our friends are being urged to take selfies during the ejection, a story of how some rich Thais are trying to game the system, and an update on the Serbian volleyball player who did the oh-so-hilarious Chinese-sized gesture to their Thai opponents. To become a patron, head to bangkokpodcast.com/support.
Right on. Okay, well, on this episode, Ed, we're starting to get a little bit excited about going out again. At least I am.
I am, for sure. I'm with you.
And as the vaccines continue and the light at the end of the tunnel starts to get a tiny bit brighter, it's time to make plans for our social life to get back on track again.
I agree.
So that's why we thought it was a perfect time to sit down with Chin Chongtong, the owner of Chili Paste Food Tours. Now, Chin is known for her energy and willingness to get her hands dirty finding the most delicious food at the most obscure places, made with the most old school recipes. And what better way to jump back into enjoying Bangkok than to eat yourself silly? And we also thought it would be interesting to hear what Chin has to say about teaching foreigners just how important food is to Thai culture, and hear some of the difficulties of running a tourism-based business during the awful, no good past few years. So here is my interview with our friend Chin from Chili Paste Food Tours. Okay, well, we are sitting here with a person I've known sort of tangentially for a long time. We've never hung out before, but we've sort of orbited around each other for many years. Mm-hmm. And I've known of your company for a long, long time, but it's nice to finally sit down and talk to you. So this is Khun Chin from Chili Paste Tours. Welcome to the Bangkok Podcast.
Yes, welcome, and thank you to let me come here and join here too.
Yeah, no, you've had an interesting company and an interesting job, and that's why I wanted to get you on to talk about. See, I think part of the reason why we started the podcast was so we could understand Thailand and how Farangs think about Thailand and how Thais think about Thailand and how Thais think about Farang. And I was talking to you, and I was like, man, who better to talk about the Thai version of what they think of Farang than someone who has a tour company that's involved with showing Farang the most important element of Thai society, which of course is food. So you do food tours.
Yeah. Yeah. I do the food tour, but in the beginning, I not really think like I gonna do the food tour.
No?
Yes, in the beginning, because in a long time in 2011 is have flood in Bangkok everywhere, right?
Right.
So and then another time with coup, right? And democracy change and up and down was like seem like
It was a crazy time because I was supposed to get married that year and we had to postpone it
yeah.
until 2012.
Yeah, so it's it's 12 is good number anyway.
All right.
So I have a flood that time is like 1.5 meter, so I have to move, and then in that time I met my friend, and then my friend like, hey, you can sit here for a while, and I have to find another job. That time is like don't know what gonna do. Maybe make some thumb around on the street or open the restaurant, but it's look like very hard work for everywhere.
Oh.
So we think like we should do like maybe tour. That was the first thing, and the second thing maybe open the restaurant.
All right.
And okay, I'm gonna look at the fortune teller.
Oh, really?
It's it's a story, yeah, but it's real. I asking her. Actually, she was in Saladang. She under the BTS station and look at the number and thing. But I never found her again after that. It's like missing.
Oh, that's mysterious.
Yeah, and in that time,
you know what you didn't see when you paid her and said thank you, she disappeared like a Yoda, like a Jedi.
But at that time, I asking her like, I have my thing to do, but I don't know what I should do. 1 and 2. So she said, oh, you should do business with the foreigner in that time. And then I said like,
So you decided to do a food tour company.
Yeah, and it's not easy because like we research, and then after that I don't really know what they can eat, what they don't know, and if I give them and this one, and they're gonna save or not save, or where the restaurant we're gonna take them. We took for like about 3 months for research and food and eat. I can't imagine like I eat like every day, like oh god, like after the research and everything, we like start and with all the paper official thing, yeah. But that time I not have any the guidelines in official yet.
Right now, for those that don't know, if you want to be a tour guide in Thailand, first of all, you have to be Thai. You can't be a foreigner.
Yeah.
And second of all, you have to do the TAT course
license,
for the license, right?
Yeah. So that took me, actually, I think about between that, they have a protest and around, have jumping around. I have I do a tour already for that time for like a 2 year, but the license is illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I test first, like that time they're not strict yet, but because the tour what I do is like about the food and local and things like that. It's not really go to the temple what they say no if you don't have license yet. But then I think, oh, okay, this business could be good. So I go to study and that, and I jump from the tour, finish in the like maybe 4:00, and then go to the university to start, and then come back and like go and back like this until like about six or 8 months around. Yeah.
Oh wow. So how did you come up? So then finally you set your company up and you called it Chili Paste, and it was ready to go. So how did you put a tour together? How do you sort of think about what Farangs are looking for? Like what kind of food do they want? What kind of areas of Bangkok do they want to go to? Like how did you decide where to take people?
In the beginning, I have the Thonburi tour. No, actually in the beginning is Bangkok. I think you went there to
Bangkok, the green lung.
Yeah, I have do the tour there bicycle, and the tour and the people fell on the canal and whatever. And that is in that was and I have a kitchen there too for teacher cooking class there, and then I rent them, and that is the first tour. But then I have a Thonburi tour. That is a 2 program that in the beginning. But then I cut Bangkok because so many people came there, and then they renovate the market, I think. So and then they was renovate and have so difficult to get a car park and busy, and some place they open, some they close. So
when I first started going to Bang Kachao like 15 years ago. There was hardly anyone there, but now
it's so many and so many shop and span around. And okay, then I stopped that one and have the Thonburi tour, and then I open another one is real food at the old Bangkok. Start like Khao San Road, Bang Lampu area until like Nang Leung Market.
Okay.
Then at that time, have a protest around. I have to jumping around, and well, you cannot sleep for like 24 hours sometimes, because you don't know what tomorrow what you're gonna do, and you don't know what like really you're gonna start and what the tour you're gonna do tomorrow, or they're gonna cancel or not. In that time, it's very hard. Then after that, I have like floating market, Samut Songkram. That area is Taka, Amphawa, then cooking class there now, and my office there now.
In Amphawa?
In Samut Songkram, in Amphawa, close by. Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool.
So I moved all my address there. After COVID, kicked me out there. It's a start how I have the name of Chili Paste Tour, right? So what the people have on the table is chili paste. This is just that I thinking. Like when they think about the food, Thai food, they should have like prik nampa. And so why we not do like chili paste? And well, but by mistake, the people think like we sell the chili paste.
So when you started out, was it just word of mouth? Did you get on the internet, make a website? How do you publicize these things? Especially because there's a lot of food tour companies already.
In the beginning, I thought it was like two companies it's start almost the same time.
Really?
But they do like, I think Bangkok area, and I do the old Bangkok area. And
old Bangkok.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
That's where I live, and that's where all the cool people live. I'm biased, but
yeah, and in the beginning, like I think have about two, but another tour they do the culture and food and more like temple tour and culture tour is more like that. But the food is very challenging for like you do just only food, but just one temple maybe, or just walk past and say sawadee-ka and then walk past or something like that. Now maybe more than 5 or 10 company now. Not sure.
I think at least. I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah. And after that.
Right. So it was just sort of word of mouth, internet marketing.
That the most word of mouth in the beginning. We're not really high rank in the Google and thing yet. Fighting on the rank with the TripAdvisor, Facebook and thing, and I get the people came from.
It's very hard to fight the SEO battles with giants who can have hundreds of staff optimizing. And
for now, what the people do, like have some like they make like YouTube comment and make you popular, right? And look like me, like just one in my company, like what I do.
So tell me about your chili pastes clients. Where do they come from? How big is your groups? And what do they want to see and eat?
I literally don't know what they want to see and eat in the beginning until I answer all the email of them and decide what they can and what they not. Because it's like the most of them, some of like from the US, Europe, Australia, is different culture, different person already. And then they have a different detail. I'm allergic to shrimp. I cannot eat blah, 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 and things like that. And they came with the two people or big group, they have different detail again.
Oh, so you make it different for every group based on what they want or what they're looking for.
It's the same route, but it's different food.
Right. Yeah.
And like Singapore, Asia, they have like love noodle and thing. We like almost like change the name Chili Paste Tour to Noodle Tour.
The noodle tour.
Yeah, noodle tour. And now I want noodle. And so some people, they have a sweet tooth, thing like that. Might be sometimes they have make a list. Like, I want to try this. And this is so sweet. And I like to try. And not have chili at all add in that. And the most of them, I think they found me on internet and by their friend telling them,
Right. So a lot of people then, when you meet them, they already have a pretty good idea of Thailand and Thai culture and Thai food. Because I guess they've done their research and they know what they want to see. So, do any of your clients show up with some silly ideas or misconceptions about Thailand or Thai food or something they want to see that just isn't possible? Like, do you ever have to correct them and say, look, this is actually how things work here?
I think happened when I do the Isan trip. Is go to my mom house and we're cooking there. We use a lot of fermented fish. Everything with fermented fish. Are you like it?
No, I don't like it.
Okay, like Isan culture, we work like if you destroy your fermented fish jar, you mean you destroy your culture, things like that. So we have a lot of fermented fish actually. But they came with the idea to eat like fish. Okay, fish. You know what I mean? Salmon.
Like salmon, sushi, fresh, river caught.
With the lambs and gray on that, with the parsley and things like that. So, we have deal. Yes, we have para, fermented fish, Kong River fish. We don't have salmon. Okay, and we have sticky, right? And then they say, no, I want a pineapple. Like, and it's not the season for pineapple, Greg. It's like, where can get pineapple? And then they want to eat pineapple every single meal.
Really?
Yep.
So they were like, I want fish, and they were thinking of like Norwegian salmon, and you gave them a jar of fermented
I almost
rotten fish paste.
Yeah, almost that. But I said, Chin, break. Like, and then I tell like, we not have that, and we tell them like, oh, we have just this. Okay, whatever fish is grilled and fine, but its taste is different. Fish from ocean, deep water and fresh water is very different.
Yeah.
So that trip every day I have to jump to the kitchen like please can you help me to do this menu, that's what I want, and my client were very very happy with and appreciate with if you do this for them and things like that.
You know, it's interesting because I've done some guiding before too, tour guiding, and
you don't know behind the scenes.
It's extremely tiring, and because you're always thinking in your brain 3 steps ahead. Like, okay, after this, then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do that, and I've got to make sure that this guy's ready to get to have us as we walk around the corner, and I got to make sure that he knows that this person is allergic to shrimp, and it looks like it might rain. So what's our plan B? And if someone needs to go to the bathroom, I've got to have 5 baht coin in my pocket so they can pay to go to the bathroom. You know, all these little things. Plus, you're dealing with the food and the specialization of diets and the expectations that people have. So it must be incredibly stressful.
Yeah. In the first year, look, very easy when we do just 1 day trip, but after that multiple days it's like kind of I want to go back. So in that time were step by step, but learning by doing, right? You learn and what the people love and you record and things, but it cannot use for like country. It's person.
Oh, so there's like, you can't say all Japanese people are like this.
No, it's wrong.
Oh, interesting.
But what the hygienic thing is all the standard thing what I want, and safety is the second plan, and third is food what they like. So I go around, it's a question around them first and what they already try or they have and things like that. So plan in my head. Same you said, like 3, maybe plan A, B, C. I use until D maybe. and kind of like, okay, we done. We have like already D plan, and I really don't want to use that, but I still have to. Like
sometimes you just have to tell people like this is what it is. If you don't like it, then you're on the wrong tour. You're in the wrong country.
Almost that too.
Yeah, and you cannot please everyone.
Beginning, because you don't know how much of that and what you have to do and deal with. But then experience will teach you how to do and think. So after 2-3 years, I think I'll be fine, but I can go and playing around or like let them do around. It's silly thing and not silly thing, and be safe. Just that. Sometimes we do the canal tour.
Yeah.
You can imagine like the canal. We just saying like, oh, you can walk, but then they fell.
They fell in the canal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
After that, we have to tell them, what you have to bring, maybe extra shirt, extra
Right.
thing like that.
Do you get any questions from foreigners about Thailand that are just like the same question over and over again that kind of make you go, ugh, this question again?
Is it safe? Is really
It's
can
safe.
eat? Yeah.
Do people ask you about ice and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
ice and vegetable. What the water clean? Where the water come? Tap water, not tap water. Is a hygienic? Is we good and things like that. Is like make me like ooh.
Yeah, people's foreigners' concept about Asia is that it's, I wouldn't say dirty, but very rough around the edges. In terms of hygienic. I guess it is in a lot of ways too. You could never have street stalls and street restaurants and stuff in Canada. There's too many regulations, but they work just fine here as long as they're kept clean. But I guess some people are just nervous about it.
Yeah, like even like before we eat, we just spray the alcohol or like tissue and clean and things like that.
Do you get any Thai guests on your food tours?
Yeah, we have.
Or do you surprise them with anything, or do they ask you any surprising questions?
I have one is a Southern Scout and another one is from Isan. So Isan is more easy. In that tour, I have speak like 3 languages. Isan, Pen Chang Dai, and then
3 dialects.
So they think like the food what she have. She think in the beginning like her husband cannot eat it and like fermented fish. Really, you want to try that? In the beginning like he think like she might be think like I don't know why they book your tour.
Oh really?
Yeah, like I can take them to tour, eat and do it like this. But maybe they want just to know in that area or something in the behind the soil and want to eat things like that and don't know what in Google it cannot searching I think but everything was fun and in the end I don't know they got the thing they want or not or it's just I do the tour for the girl. I don't know.
Well, sometimes people aren't that adventurous with their own city or culture. Thinking when I was in Canada I didn't know anything about my city that I lived in, about its history or anything. And sometimes it's nice just to hire a local guide to remove any stresses about it and just say, show me something new or something like that. So COVID obviously has killed tourism for a while now.
Yeah.
So how are businesses like yours adapting?
I start to not have a tour, I think about February. I happened like
February 2020.
Yes, about that because in the February I think I not have the customer. The ones start to cancel because they cannot come and stuck in somewhere already.
Yeah.
And then after that was I think April. Normally I not have any tour so much because Songkran, but all of that they was all canceled right for the Songkran and thing. So I think like March, April, I still like chill in like look like my holiday. But it's 2 months, it's too much for me. Yeah. And now it's for a year.
Sitting for a week is fine.
Yeah, right. It's like now it's for like a year, almost 2 years already. I'm almost like, if you're not talk with me, who I gonna talk with? You know, a lot of people like they lost a job. I don't have my part. I mean, not have the people work with. So that's more something to control. And
it's just you don't have staff.
Yeah, I don't have that one. So it's easy for what I can think and then move on or go and things like that. But someone who don't have like many staff, is hard for them in the beginning.
Yeah.
Some of my friends, they was close the company, open the coffee shop. Some was do like hairdresser, a barber, selling the food and things like that. We have to do so many things.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy, they can be survive for anything like a duck.
Thais are very entrepreneurial. Thais will do like, they'll hustle. They'll do whatever they need to do to get through.
For their survive.
So you started cooking and you brought me a bottle of jam. Here, which I've had before and it's delicious.
Yeah, right. So I start. I not like the baking in the beginning, but I do like I go to study or learn in the classroom might be more expensive and use like, I don't know what I can do, just for fun. Google, YouTube, like all day with that. And also like, you live in condominium. You can imagine like when the flower flow away, like, and dirty everywhere. And the hard part I do is croissant. It's like killing me.
Croissants.
If you ask me now, I will not do again forever. I'm done. But another one I do like bread, cake, and without the recipe too.
Really? Just from what you found online?
Yeah, I look at the recipe, how much they add. But then in my mind, I cannot do that because of Thai food, you just with your tongue, your taste and done, right?
Right.
And then I use a smell. I use a smell and do like, oh, okay, this dough gonna be like that, and look like, oh, okay, similar. And after that, you just do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So are you selling those things now?
I sell, but nobody buy it. It's a funny thing, right? So I think what I should do now, fortune teller, maybe.
Another fortune teller. Oh, it'll be like a bookend.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, hopefully in the next 6 months.
Maybe.
Well, in the meantime, if someone wants to buy some of your delicious jam, which I can recommend, or anything else, where can people find you online?
Yeah. I post everywhere in Instagram, Chili Pet Tour, Facebook, and have the price on that. Yeah.
Foodtoursbangkok.com.
Yeah, they can search on the in the Instagram. Yeah.
Right.
The most for now I do in Instagram because you just post a picture, whatever you want to say. Nobody chat and just click like and that is what I do now.
Right. Well, we also have a question from one of our listeners. I told our some of our $5 patrons that you were coming on the show, and Eric wanted me to ask. He said, "What are some current food trends that you are seeing, and do you think they will be temporary or are they long-term trends in food in Thailand?"
Okay, the limit of the chili is different, depend on the person, right? But some people, they can eat more than what they do, maybe more than Mark Greens as well.
More than Mark Greens.
Yeah, it's like we have the guests from India. They opened the restaurant as I make the chili at something, and in that time we run our chili from home my kitchen that you can imagine, like we stock a lot chili, and we run out because of 2 of them.
Really?
Yes. And so they eat very spicy, and also they want to learn more of the chili thing, what kind of, what used for. And sometimes I have a chef to come on tour, and they more like want to see how the people cook in that dish. They might be have like in their mind like catfish, but it's very fishy, right?
Yeah.
So they want to know the trick. They want to know how the people do, and we jump to their kitchen on the street as well, how they cook and eat and things like that. So more like eat and see how the people cook and show them as well. So they learn and eat at the same time.
So like experiential, experimenting and learning by doing. Like
yeah. Also, like I let them cook as well in the market.
And people are happy to do that.
Yeah. When I do the tour in the beginning, they think I have a boyfriend, change the boyfriend almost every day. Because I go and back different people every day, right? They don't know it was a guy. And they don't, even Thai people who the one on the van, in the vendor in the market, there was a thing like, how they can eat. Is the foreigner can eat? Really? And after that, they used to it and they try to give them to eat. But for sure, some of them might be want to be a very polite way and just say, yeah, I can try. But I said, if you don't like, just signal me, okay? Sometimes they just, but I be in the middle with the vendor and them, right? So I want them to be happy and eat, enjoy, and things like that. I don't want to get them sick on the way as well. So that's what the thing was. You have to think and how to present them as well.
So people are becoming a bit more used to spicy food?
If Asia, might be not much. but some they can do more. European depend on the people try that before or never before.
Right.
So the level of them, like a level of chili. So okay, how many chili you can and things like that. I can adjust with that and keep them.
But it's interesting because everyone is different. You two people who are like brother and sister could have totally different tastes for that. So it's hard. Yeah, it's hard, like you said earlier. It's hard to say.
So like if happen like that, like for the whole group, sometimes I have like 10 people in a group. And they allergic like maybe 10 things. We have to find like in the middle where what you can eat.
Stop at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, almost that. But even that, it's like, we go to the 7-Eleven for get the aircon.
I've done that before.
And make you calm first and then we go out again.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah.
Well, Chin, thanks so much for coming on the show. I hope that people start coming back, tourists start coming back soon, and they can start taking our tours. But I also hope that people who are in Bangkok and Thailand already can contact you and you've been out before with Richard Barrow, Mr. Twitter, Richard Barrow. He's been on several of your trips.
Yeah, and Richard was like said, if you want to come on a tour, you have to diet before 2 days before on the tour and diet after the tour.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's what he said.
All right. Well, maybe I can do that. Then I can come out and eat some more of this jam and some of the cool stuff in Thonburi that you show people around. Well, thank you for coming on. It's interesting hearing your point of view about what happens and what goes on behind the scenes for a food tour. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work, but you cannot tell and gossip them.
All right, Chin. Well, thanks for coming on. And,
thank you.
We'll see you out in Thonburi.
Yep.
Eating some food.
Yes, good.
Well, let me say this. Everyone knows Thailand is famous for its food. I mean, if you think about, when I think about when I was back in the States, obviously there's certain cuisine that every American is familiar with, whether it's Mexican food or Chinese food or Indian food.
Right.
But Thailand is on the list. It's like considering there's 200 countries in the world, it's like there's only, at least I don't know, I'm guessing Canada was similar, right?
Yeah,
but
man,
I feel like
going out to Thai food, like you were throwing down some serious, like money.
Right. Well, but it's just the idea that of all the cuisines in the world, there's really 5, 6, 7, 8 that just penetrate the West. We're like, I'm going out for Indian or I'm going out for Thai. And what's cool is that here in Bangkok, there's an organization like this and a person like this who is doing all the legwork to find the best food, the genuine food, the authentic food, the hardcore, the real deal, because there's food everywhere, and it's in general it's good, but it's good to have someone telling us where the best of the best is.
Right. Yeah. It'd be like someone coming to Calgary where I grew up, and they're like, I want a hamburger. I'm gonna go to Burger King, and I'd be like, no. There's a really good burger place I know. You got to come with me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Chin's great, and she's quite well known for doing that, like putting in the footwork, the groundwork, the legwork, to get out there and find those really good things. And it's funny, her story too about how she sort of got into this because there was nothing else to do. Her place was flooded, and she didn't want to open a food stall, and so she started doing this, and it turned out to be kind of her calling, and she's really good at it. So.
That's great. I checked their website and they are vegetarian and vegan friendly, which is cool for me. So it sounds like anyone could do it if you're gluten free, whatever your specific diet is. As long as you let them know ahead of time, they'll take care of you.
I'll tell you what, I'll go you one better. If you are a vegetarian and you go on one of Chin's tour, ask me to come, and then I'll just eat all your meat.
Yeah, that'll work. We could just buy one meal, separate the meat out. That will work. That will work.
Well, many thanks to Chin for coming on the show. It was good to sit down. And we hope that you're out there very soon, traipsing around with a crowd of confused foreigners behind you, showing them the best of Bangkok. All right, let's get into some love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of living in Bangkok, which we then discuss and decide if it's something that we love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept as just something that we have to learn to live with no matter how we feel about it. And last time I asked Ed what he thought about sticker-only replies to his eloquent line messages. So this week it is your turn to quiz moi.
All right, dude, I've got a big issue here. I don't know. This could take some time. This is a big thing, and I don't even know what to call it. Okay, so I'm going to call it selective appropriation of Western pop culture. That's my, I guess, semi-academic thing. And dude, I've got a big picture view here. I got a big picture view on the bonus show. I talked about my students who really liked the movie Forrest Gump and Notting Hill. In the intro, I talked about John Denver.
Yeah.
Take Me Home, Country Roads.
Yeah.
So here's my question to you. I find it fascinating that Thai people tend to grab onto very specific pieces of Western pop culture. It's like they're into the song Hotel California. Mm-hmm. They're into the Stevie Ray Vaughan song Pride and Joy.
Okay.
They're into the movie, or they're into the movie like Forrest Gump, Notting Hill. It's like, for example, every Thai person knows the movie Coyote Ugly.
Okay, yeah.
And that wasn't even that big of a movie. And in Thai, they use the word coyote for kind of like a go-go dancer.
Sexy dancers, yeah.
Yeah, like as a coyote. But certain pieces of Western culture, certain songs, certain movies, it's just Thai people grab onto.
And then that becomes the defining criteria for that.
Well, they just really like it, or they think it's really important, or it's almost like they have they have an outsized sense of how important this is. Like the movie Coyote Ugly. The movie Coyote Ugly is just, I'm not saying it's bad. I saw the movie. It is what it is, But it had this strange impact on Thai culture. Like they all know the word coyote because of the movie Coyote Ugly.
Right, but it's not going to be embedded in the Smithsonian as an example of like
that's
classic culture.
And obviously, like songs like Hotel California or Pride and Joy, like I think they're great. I love them, but it's. I mean, are you first off? Do you know what I'm talking about? Just why there's just certain things. Like
is this sort of related to like the secretaries, the younger girls who wear like T-shirts with Iron Maiden or Alice Cooper on them, and they have no idea who Iron Maiden or Alice Cooper is? They just like that one thing, but they have no idea of like the underlying cultural impact of it.
Well, honestly, I think that's probably a little bit different. That's probably more just kind of like ignorance. They don't know what it is. But what I mean is just. What I'm talking about is certain songs or movies from the West that Thai people really love, but they seem highly selective.
This is interesting. I've never thought of it, but you're not wrong, and it doesn't bother me in the least.
Okay,
because we are guilty of the same thing, and I say we as in the royal we, as in foreigners, Westerners. You ask people what they think about Thailand, and they're like, "Oh, pad Thai." And
I see. Okay.
Ong Bak as Thai movie, and it's
right.
Okay, you're only picking like the top 0.2% of the entire representation of whatever thing you're talking about. Like,
that is probably true. Yeah.
Pad Thai isn't even a real Thai dish. It was created to, foment nationalism in the 1950s.
Right. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's unpopular among Thai people, but it's not very popular. It's not like very common.
Right, exactly. But you get what I'm saying. Like, so I think anyone is guilty of it. I think they just sort of pick and choose what appeals to them most, what's easiest, what presents the least friction in sort of glomming on to another culture or another subculture.
It's such a this is a deeper topic, and I'm kind of curious if there is some deeper reason, or if it's just random. So if the popularity of Forrest Gump or Notting Hill or like the Stevie Ray Vaughan song Pride and Joy, it's one of my favorite songs. I love that song. But it gets oddly overplayed in Thai bars for some reason. So this is what I'm starting to tell you. There's like a weird fixation on a small number of pieces of Western culture. So I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason to it or not.
I don't know. You're right. It's an interest. It's probably a deeper dive here, but
okay. But let me say this. My first impression was I loathed this, but now over the years, I like it. Like I think I'm actually a love. I've gone from loathe to love because now when I see Thai people liking a song like "Take Me Home, Country Roads," like where it's just I mean, I never disliked the song. I grew up on John Denver, but it's just one of a million folk, country, American songs. And so the fact that Thai people have just grabbed that and they're like, we really like this. So now I love it. It's kind of cool. Like I'm seeing the connection that they have for quote unquote my culture, and I'm learning about them from what they like.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But for me, I'm live with. I've never really thought about it that much. I just think it's easy for people to pick and choose whether they like something because it's easy or it's appealing. And I don't think there's a particular rhyme or reason for it.
But do you really think do they like Hotel California just because it's easy? That doesn't make sense because there's a million songs they could like. It's easy for them to like many songs.
Well, maybe it's a combination of the fact that they've been exposed to it a million times, and it's familiar.
But why that song? That's what I'm saying. There's so many hits. There's so many hits.
This is where we need a pop anthropologist to come on.
For sure.
It. But no, so live with for me. I don't really even notice it.
All right, I'm going to go love. All right. A final thanks to our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping support the show. Find out more by clicking support on our website and connect with us online or Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
True that. You can also listen to each episode on YouTube. You can send us a voicemail online and we'll use that on the show, or you can even reach out to me directly on Twitter where I am BKK Greg. So thanks for listening, everyone. Get them vaccines in your arms, and we'll see you here next week.
For sure. We'll see you next week. It's here.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So let's get into some love, loathe, or leave. Wait, fuck. God, it's been 2 years.
Dude, that was 2 years ago, dude. Wake up. Snap.
Get off the old hobby horse.